In 2023, something within me stirred, a quiet urge to pause, to step away from the life I knew, not just to travel, but to wander, without a plan, without a return date. Just pack the car and go. So I left. 3 months after quitting my job, I began driving north from Melbourne. 40 days later, I arrived in the stillness of Noosa hinterland. But was that the destination or the beginning of something deeper? This series is a reflection of that journey, both on the road and within. Quitting a job to travel sounds romantic. But the day I left Melbourne, I felt uneasy. There was no apartment waiting for me. Everything I owned was either sold or packed into this car. I had paid for the car rental upfront. 3 months, no refunds. So there was no looking back. Have I made the right decision? With the first hour on the road, the nervousness began to ease. Thoughts passed, like the trees lining the highway. And as the landscape opened up, so did something in me. A slow unfolding into this new reality. Before heading to the campsite, I took a short detour. A gentle 2.3-kilometer loop through peaceful bushland. Along the way, I met a swamp wallaby. They are known to be solitary creatures. That made the two of us. Just as I was about to set up my tent, I heard a sound. Wombat. The way it kept scratching anything in its path made me a little anxious. What if this adorable creature decided to claw through my tent while I slept? A quick Google search gave me one clear instruction: don't keep any food inside the tent. A stroll on a sandy shore. A solo crab on the beach floor. I stood there feeling mildly poetic. But then reality stepped in. In about 30 minutes, there would be no natural light left. The sun was setting, and so was my window to cook dinner. Philosophy could wait. I rushed back to the campsite. An open kitchen, a simple meal. Cooking put me at ease. This felt like home. The plan was to go for a hike, but the sun was high, the sky clear. It felt like a day for something else. A cruise on pristine blue waters with breathtaking views, granite-studded islands, and if you are lucky, a few wild surprises, like this one. Our guide had spotted a huge nest of a white-bellied sea eagle.
It's 1.5 meters high and it's 1 meter deep. And when it's sitting on the tree or on a branch or in the nest, it sits 90 centimeters high. So they are a big bird. Wow. Hence why there's a big nest. Now we're hoping, we haven't seen the eagles here for a couple of days, but at this point in time there should be 2 eggs in there. And the reason there's 2 is it's Mother Nature's way of building in a redundancy program.
Our guide told us to tighten our seat belts, and in an instant, we were racing across the water. We wondered why.
A whale breach over here, so we just come across to see if we can find him. So keep your eyes peeled. That one very small.
It's small, yeah.
Tail fluke. Oh, I think there's another one over there as well.
Looks like that. Huge, yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 there.
We'll wait for it.
It's a big one.
Oh, look at that together. So you can tell the difference between the southern whites and the humpbacks. But as these guys dive down, you see their hump come up and they've got that small dorsal fin in the back. The southern whites don't have that. Yep. Go around again. This way. How cool is that, guys?
Yes.
There's actually 3 there. There goes the tail fluke. That's so cool. There's the tail fluke again, baby. Here we go. There we go, another tail fluke, guys.
Watching a humpback whale up close was a humbling experience. We moved on to boulders, islands, and rocky shores. But part of me stayed behind, still filled with the image of that giant gliding through the vastness of the ocean. Then came a sound, strangely like sheep. And I was pulled gently back into the present. A seal colony. The lively, playful mood shifted as a massive form emerged from the sea. Still, silent, and imposing. Skull Rock. Its sheer presence seemed to quiet everything around it. Even the guide's voice faded into the background, as if the rock itself demanded silence. As we began our journey back to the coast, the ocean offered one final surprise. A school of dolphins appearing as if to bid us farewell. This time, I cooked before heading to the beach. While mapping out my next stops, I finally read through the fine print of my car rental agreement. It hit hard. I cannot drive a two-wheel drive on unsealed roads. Somehow I had missed that. In my mind, I had already begun the Darling River Run, an iconic journey through the Australian outback. But now, that vision dissolved. I had no choice but to accept and recalibrate. Today was meant for walking and a proper hike. Right after breakfast, I set out to climb Mt Oberon. The 6.8-kilometer return trail takes about 2 hours with a steady incline most of the way. Near the top, the path steepens. Steps cut into the slope lead you to a rocky summit. The view from the above is worth every step. You can trace the winding path of the Tidal River as it meets the sands of Norman Beach and spot bays and islands scattered off the coast. Post-lunch, I chose an easy walk. It follows the southern bank of the Tidal River. While strolling along the boardwalk, you get to admire the gorgeous views across Tidal River to Mt Oberon. After crossing the Tidal River footbridge, I hopped on to another track through a tunnel of tea tree to reach Pillar Point. Evening walks on the beach had become a ritual. Tonight, I drove farther, chasing a new view. But as I stood there, I wondered, why the rush? Was I chasing the sunset or chasing a checklist? Why this urge to keep moving, to search for something more somewhere else? Perhaps the real beauty isn't in finding a better view, but in learning to be still, to witness nature's unfolding without needing to chase it. So I turned around and found myself back at the beach beside my campsite. That's where I will return each evening for as long as I am here. Another hot day. I should have started earlier. Halfway through the walk, I was seriously considering turning back. Until I noticed this. I put my head down and walked on. Somewhere along the trail, my mind spiraled into the future. What would the video of this trip look like? One long film or split into episodes? What would I even call the chapters? Should I drop them all at once or do a one every 2 weeks kind of a thing? Should I add a voiceover this time? For a moment, I felt fired up, like I would start editing the second I got back. Ironically, it has taken me nearly 2 years to even begin making this video. Sometimes, even beauty, when it comes back to back, can feel a bit much. Even the pristine blue waters can feel excessive. All I really wanted was some shade and the rest of my upma. Feeling well rested, I headed to the beach. It was windy, so I picked a meal that didn't need the stove. The flapping of the tent was a clear sign. Sleep would be a struggle. Strong winds had pulled out 3 tent pegs, which I had to hammer back in, sometime around 1:30 a.m. The weather forecast didn't offer much hope either, so today called for something gentler. Staying in, sipping hot water, reading, and practicing the guitar made perfect sense. And of course, something hot to eat. Hoping the weather gets better tomorrow. The weather kept getting worse. I walked to the cafe for breakfast and picked up stronger pegs for the tent. Most campsites looked abandoned. I spent the whole day inside. By 5 p.m., storm alerts popped up. I packed up and moved to a safer spot. Sleeping in the car wasn't the plan, but here I was, little uneasy, yet oddly excited. Maybe it's time to move on. It's time for a new address.